high five. Beyond's the champion of finding lions. So we're going to show you very quickly. Woohoo! Sleeping, my favorite. And then this is the funniest. Yes, I'm actually going to go forward for this. And look who's sitting all on his own, sulking. Ha ha ha. Right, I think we need to get a little bit closer. What do you think, Viam? Let's get a little bit... I don't know why I'm singing all of a sudden. I apologize. It's terrible. Now, as we make our way off-road, we're trying to avoid not breaking this vehicle. I promise I'm not usually this accident-prone. Devin was wondering, is it summer because it is so hot here? Devin, you are spot on. We are in our first month of summer at the moment. It is our first month of summer. Hello, Lion. And it is exceptionally hot, but it's only going to get hotter and hotter over the next 2 months. So that's going to be quite fun. Lots and lots of fun, of course. February is my worst. I think February is the hottest. I remember last year we had days of like 105 for a week in a row. That was not pleasant. I was only going out at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe it won't be too bad this year, but you can see the lions are not enjoying the heat at all. They are all fast asleep. Now, Elizabeth from Hermitage Elementary. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with my brain today, Kirsty. I think the sun has completely fried it. Because I have the question and then it just disappears. Elizabeth, I'm so sorry, my dear friend, that my brain is like pudding today. Now, you were wondering, how did I know where to look for the lions? So, Elizabeth, this morning, just as we were getting ready to go on safari, we saw the lions walking past camp. They were only a couple of, maybe about 100 feet or so away from us, not too far away, and we saw them walking. And then we followed them, and eventually they lay down, they went to sleep, they got up, they chased a male around, the big male lion that you saw earlier. And then I had to leave, and we spotted their footprints now this afternoon on the road. Now, if you can follow the animals' footprints, then you have an idea. And I saw a big watering hole, so I thought we'd better go check there to see if maybe they've gone to that spot, but they weren't. So then I knew that they had to be between the dam and the road where I saw their footprints. So we drove on the next road. And we were lucky, very, very, very lucky, that we were able to just come across them this easy. Because sometimes, Elizabeth, it is very, very difficult to track the animals, and they'll take you on a runaround. But look at them. Now you can see that little cub is very hungry and is going to suckle from its mother. Now, Kate, looking at these lions as they're having a siesta, you were wondering how much sleep do the lions get at night? Now, Kate, the lions are actually more active, so they have more energy at nighttime. And also because it's a little bit cooler, it's not so hot like when the sun is out. And they have better eyesight than the animals that they are looking to eat. So they like to hunt at nighttime. So then most of their sleep is actually done during the heat of the day. So when it's very, very hot. And they will sleep for up to 18 to 20 hours a day. Now these lions are looking very, very hungry. They're not too fat. So I suspect that maybe tonight they're going to try and look for something to eat. So I think it's a combination of the lions being hungry and moving constantly to look for areas of where there is food. There isn't much food around on Djuma at the moment. And also that they were being tailed by the male lion. He was chasing them and they're trying to get away from him. But he wants to stick around. The girls don't want him here, but he's decided he wants to stay here. But you can see that they're panting so hard, breathing to try and cool themselves down. Now, Molly from Kingston Elementary, you're wondering how much better of eyesight is than that of the animals that they're hunting. Oh, hang on, what was that? So I just thought I heard something. No, it's not. It's the rustling of the leaves from the wind that's starting. So their eyes are very good. What I'm going to compare it to is our eyesight. So if we had to see in the dark, if we were able to see in the dark, the lions are able to use only 1/6 of the light that we would need to be able to see in the dark. So how crazy is that? That's how good these animals can see. Now, I very quickly need to just tell the guides on the radio that we've got these lions when they finish talking. Just because there's lots and lots of other rangers driving around, and I have to tell them if we have found these animals, because they've got guests who have come from all over the world to see these beautiful big creatures. But while I have a little chat with the other rangers to let them know what we are going to get up to, and of course that we found the lions, we're going to go across to Evia and see if he's found any small little things to show you. Indeed, but you can see the sun is out and it is not playing games this afternoon, and we're sitting really, really close. Now, if you're watching, can you see that we're not very far away from these lions, and you don't have to worry about anything. VM and I are safe in this car. And it's because we've been interacting with these animals. So we have been driving around for almost 30 years in these cars. And so these lions have got used to us now, as well as most of the other animals. But sometimes you'll see they can be a little bit nervous of us. And when they are nervous, we give them a little bit of space and make sure that they feel comfortable. And I believe all of you from White Oaks Elementary are wondering if the lion cubs will only suckle from their own mother or if they will suckle from other mothers. Now, it depends. If the females are lactating, all the different cubs will suckle from the various females. So lactating means is that they've got milk, and then that allows all the other cubs to suckle. But the cubs, they have to be a little bit careful, because the mother will show preference to her own cubs, but she will allow the other cubs to suckle every now and then. But these cubs are getting older now. There's really only the one little cub that should really still be suckling. The others are 6 and 7 months old, so they should be getting weaned soon. You can almost see the other mothers, barring one, they're not really producing any milk anymore. But they're eating solid, so they're eating the buffalo, they're eating the kudu, whatever their mothers can catch for them, they will eat, which is nice. But they start eating at a very, very young age. Milk is really just a treat now. But you can see they are very hot, and the shade that they are sitting under is disappearing. Now, Riley, you're wondering what type of instinctive behaviors do lions have? Well, hunting. Hunting is probably the most instinctual behavior. The little ones, when they get older, they go out on hunts and they observe. However, when they are very, very small, they've never ever seen their parents hunt for them before, they already start to chase each other and stalk each other and bite each other's tails. And this is all natural. This just comes naturally to them. So that's probably the most important instinctual behavior that a lion has. And, well, if they aren't able to hunt, well, they're not going to be able to eat anything. But look how giant her paws are. Can you see that? And very, very fluffy. Now, sometimes when you are tracking lions and you are not sure if the footprints that they have left behind are fresh enough, sometimes you can even see the hair on the track. Not the actual bits of hair, but the pieces that have pressed into the sand, if the ground is nice and smooth. And that's also a very good way to tell if the track is fresh or not. Now, there's an animal called a brown hyena that I used to see on the southeast coast of South Africa. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture to show you, but it's so fluffy, it almost looks like a German shepherd. And when they leave their footprints in the road, you can see how heavy their toes. Now, I know, Christina, you were wondering if we ever see hyena. We do. And occasionally you'll see the hyenas hanging around the lions, especially if they have something to eat. So maybe the lions caught a buffalo, you'll see them. And the hyenas love to follow leopards around, or any of the predators, because if they do try and kill something and they are successful, they have the opportunity to steal those kills. But don't be fooled by the hyenas' scavenging behavior. They are very, very good hunters, and they like to catch kudu in the Sabi sand. That's one of their favorite animals to catch. And at this time of the year, it's also very easy because there's lots of baby animals, and which makes for easy target. It is so quiet. There's not even a bird chirping out here. Everybody's hiding from the sun today. But I think these lions are going to have to move at some point, because the way in which the sun is going, it's going to erase all the shade. Now we're looking at these lions as they are sleeping. Look at that one's cuddling onto its mom. Can you see that? That's a nice thing to cuddle. I'd think it's a little bit hot though. Now, Devin and Josie, you were wondering if lions hibernate. So we don't really have any animals out here that hibernate. We get the frogs that'll estivate, and sometimes terrapins and things will estivate, but not really hibernation. And so the lions, they just keep going all year round. They sleep mostly during the heat of the day, and then at night when it's cooler, they'll go out and hunt. But they can also hunt during the day. I've seen many lion kills during the middle of the day when it's at its absolute hottest, so don't be fooled by that either. But no, they don't hibernate. Not like the bears and those types of things, even though it looks like it at the moment. Now, Kayla, you were wondering if lions ever eat plants. Sometimes. You'll see lions grazing. Can you believe that? So grazing means that you'll see them eating grass, and it's the most bizarre thing that you'll ever see. And normally what they do is they'll eat grass and plant vegetation that their stomachs can't normally digest. And what that does is that it actually induces vomiting. So sometimes it'll make them get sick. And normally they'll do that if they're not feeling very well. They like to do things like that. This little one is very uncomfortable. Should I lay on my back? Should I lay on my side or my stomach? Should I cuddle? Should I put my paws in the air? This little one is not sure what to do this afternoon. But like I said, at least there's a bit of a breeze starting now. So that will definitely start to cool them down, and I'm sure that they will be happy about that. I think we'll sit with these lions for just a little bit longer to see what they get up to. But I think that they're still going to sleep for a while. Now, I'm not sure what Evie's plans are this afternoon, but let's go back across to him and find out. I showed you all the girl lions. Now we're looking at a beautiful big male lion, but he's not doing himself much justice this afternoon because he's sitting down, so we can't see how big his beautiful mane is. But this male lion, his name is Mfumo. And he is one of 4 lions which make up a big male coalition called the Birminghams. Now, you saw those lovely ladies, and we were talking about how they do lots of the hunting. But it's the boys that also do the hunting. It's very important to have males in a pride, because if they're bringing down big animals like a big buffalo, if the boys are there, it makes it a lot easier for the girls to bring the animal that they're trying to catch down to the ground, because they are so much stronger than the girls. But he's also sleeping for the moment, resting. And I think that tonight they're going to definitely go on the hunt. And I think that they'll be lucky because there are some clouds moving in. So maybe it will cover the moon and the stars. And then that will give them the advantage to catch an animal at nighttime. But he also doesn't have very much shade there. You can see the sun creeping in through the trees. Now, Katie, you were wondering, how far does a lion walk in one day? You won't believe how far they walked yesterday evening or last night and then this morning. They probably walked about 4 or 5 miles, I reckon. They were up and down, maybe looking for some food, because there isn't much food around at the moment because we've had all the rain. So all the different animals have moved to all the different areas. They've all split up, whereas in the drier seasons, they tend to group together and form big herds. So it's a lot more difficult now for these lions to find some food. They've got to work exceptionally hard. So it depends. Sometimes they can just walk a little bit. Sometimes they don't even move at all if they've got some water close by, and if they're feeding on something, if they've maybe caught a buffalo, they don't have to worry about really going anywhere at all. And then they just find nice shady spots and sit under the trees and have siestas all day long. But look, we were talking about his eyes. Look underneath his eyes. Now, if you see that white stripe underneath his eyes, that actually helps him to be able to see better at night. Now, there's another ranger coming into the sighting. You saw this lion open his eyes, and just to check that he's not getting too close to his girls, because he's very protective over them at the moment. Now, Dean, you were wondering, do lions exercise? Can you believe it that these animals are naturally fit, so they don't need to go and run on the treadmill for 2 hours a day? They can sit and almost do nothing, and they still keep their muscle tone, and they're really, really fit. And remember, when they do go out chasing animals, they're practicing their sprints all the time. But wild animals are very different to domesticated animals. They don't eat all the time. They're not overfed. So generally, they are quite lean. They don't have too much fat on their bodies. They've just got lots and lots of muscles. But you can see, he definitely looks like he needs to eat. Now, we're going to have to say goodbye to these lovely lions, but I hope you enjoyed them. But we're going to go and see if we can find some elephants or something like that, maybe splashing around in the water. And I believe that Evia has managed to find you a wriggly worm of some sorts.